Hey guys, it's Lee here with the Glidecam Ultra-Shot. Now this is just a quick tutorial outlining some of the awesome features that this camera rig has. Now it's a multi-purpose rig, so I'm going to show you guys how to use it as a shoulder rig and convert it to a monopod, a hi-hat, and also a stabilizer. Now because this rig is so unique, there are some unique safety features that this rig has that I want to show you guys, as well as some quick tips that you guys could use when you're out in the field shooting with the Glidecam Ultra-Shot. Now the Glidecam Ultra-Shot is pretty much ready to go right out of the package. All you have to do is screw the handles into the center hub here and there, and then slide the camera plate into the camera head. It's a quick release plate, so all you have to do is just push this button, it'll slide right in, and then tighten down the spring-loaded knob on the right-hand side. Now if the spring-loaded knob can't turn all the way because your camera happens to be blocking it, it's a spring-loaded knob, so you can pull it out and then reposition it and then go ahead and tighten down. Now if for some reason you were to put the plate into the camera head and you did not lock this down, don't worry about it because we have a little safety feature that's built in, so the plate won't slide out from the bottom and it won't slide out from the back side either. So always remember to tighten down your plate as soon as you get it in there, and again you can pull that knob and then reposition it. Now one of the unique features about this camera rig is also one of the most important features on this camera rig, and it's also the way that the camera rig was designed and engineered. So what you want to make sure is that the knobs and the handles are tightened down as best as you can on the center of the shaft to what's called a dead stop. You might even hear some of the metal squeaking when you do that. That's actually what you want to hear. Now once you're done tightening the knobs down, you want to make sure that your safety knob is also tightened down, which is a spring-loaded knob located on the left-hand side of this hub right here. Now if you're to tighten it down, it kind of gets in the way. Again, it's a spring-loaded knob, so you can simply pull it out and then reposition it in line with the camera rig or pointing down. Now the design and the ergonomics of the Glidecam Ultra-Shot is very unique. And now that you guys have an understanding as to the importance of keeping and making sure that these handles are as tight as possible onto the center shaft, otherwise known as a dead stop, now I can show you guys some options as to what direction that you want your handles to face. Now later on in a tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to reposition these handles for how you're going to use the rig, but for right now, you have an option. You have the option of whether to have the handles flare out away from you or have them tucked in towards you. Now because of my arm length and the amount of time that I've used the Ultra-Shot, I've just gotten used to having the handles flared out. Also too, what I've found when I'm using the Ultra-Shot as a stabilizer, that I can balance my camera a lot faster with the handles flared out, or in this case flared up versus flared down. So you guys should try what works best for you and what you're more comfortable with. Again, I prefer to have them flared out. Now, in order for me to make that adjustment, you're going to want to take this handle hub off the shaft. But in order to do that, you have to get the camera head off the shaft. Now, the fastest way to remove the camera head is to use leverage. So in order to use some leverage, what I'm going to do is open up this camera plate, loosen up all the handles and knobs, and turn the plate just so it's off to the right. If you notice, I've kept the plate on the camera head, so you're just going to keep it just off to the right. And normally you're going to do this on the floor. You won't be doing it onto a rickety table like I've got it now, this little fold-out table. So once you get it to this point, again, you're going to use leverage on the floor, and you're just going to push down on it. There we go. Down on it. Now you can take the camera head off, and I'm going to show you the fastest way to put that camera head back on and ensure that you have it as tight as possible. But this is what it looks like when you have the handles reversed. So right now they are flared out, and now they are inverted in towards you. So this is what it looks like when they're inverted towards you. This is a little close for me. So I'm going to open up that first monopod clamp. I'm going to pull them away a little bit. And this is what it would feel like. But again, I'm used to having them flared out. So I want you guys just to try, see what you like. But remember, you want to make sure that the camera head is nice and tight and secure. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And it's basically reversing the order. So I just went ahead and put the handles back to the flared out position because that's the way I like it. And I'm just going to spin the camera head back on again like that, leaving the camera plate on. I'm going to close up my monopod here. And again, typically I would take this to the floor because it's a little bit more sturdy than this rickety table. And now what you're going to want to do is loosen these and make sure that the camera head is off to the left like this. It It might be reversed if you were left-handed, I'm right-handed. And now I'm going to use the leverage of the, again, of the camera plate and my body on the floor. And I'm just going to, I might even put my arm here and just turn it like this to where I can hear the metal kind of creaking a little bit. I know I'm getting a good tight fit, and it's not going to loosen up on me. So that's the whole trick to making sure that this is tight. Now, one of the really cool engineering features that went into the development of this camera rig is the must-have ability to reposition the handles. Now, in its most traditional shoulder rig form, as you can see, I have a nice V here. It's very stabilized. I can let go, and I can operate the camera manually. Now, before I loosen up these handles, I can't stress enough the importance of physically grabbing onto your camera. Whether you put your hand in the strap or hold it physically in your hand, make sure you got a good grip on it. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is loosen up your safety knob, which is the spring-loaded knob on the left, and then you're going to want to loosen up your handles. I do the left one first. Ooh, I had that one on pretty tight. And then there's the right one. Now, as you can see here, it's got a sort of a bearing type feel to it, and it's kind of being like a pendulum. When it stops, here's a tip. More likely than not, that's going to be level for you. You're just going to want to tighten up this knob, and then your camera will be leveled back out in the V shape. But for right now, I'm going to tighten both of these down. I got that sound that I like to hear, which means I dead stopped on the shaft. And now not only did this camera rig take on a different look, but it also took on a different feel. Now, instead of 3 points of contact, 1, 2, and 3, I now have 4, because I can now grab the camera physically in my right hand, operate it with my left, and still have not 3, but now 4 points of contact. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This allows you to get some really nice pan shots. I'm in the classic camera operator yoga position here. And if you're familiar with shooting reality shows, you know that move. Now, depending on the weight of your camera and the type of camera that you're using, you're going to want to do some small adjustments to the monopod clamps. I find that it's easier and I can get a more accurate adjustment when I use my Phillips head screwdriver and leave the clamps in its closed position like you see here. And believe it or not, the smallest turn of that screwdriver makes all the difference in the world. The smallest turn. Perfect. And I should be able to just close out with one thumb. That's how you know you got a good adjustment. Now, from time to time, and the more you use your Ultra-Shot, you might develop a squeaking sound, or this might start to get a little tough to loosen or to tighten. Not to worry, it's a simple fix. That just means you got some dirt buildup inside there. So basically, I just use an old rag, wipe off the threads, take an old toothbrush, or if you happen to have a gun cleaning bristle brush, that'll work too. Get inside there like that. Come back in with a Q-tip, get any kind of residual gook out of there. And then literally one drop. Just place a drop of, in this case I'm using generic super oil. You can use gun oil or mechanics oil. One drop. Too much oil and it's just going to make a mess. You're not going to want that. That's what you want to hear. I don't recommend WD-40 and I don't recommend wheel bearing grease because that's going to get too gunky. This is what you want. Nice, clean, it's easy to put back in again. Now, one of the awesome accessories that comes with the Glidecam Ultra-Shot is the camera plate itself, and we call that the offset plate. Now, this plate was designed specifically for this camera rig, and if you look really close, you'll see 2 individual 1/4-inch screws. Now, the screw on the offset side is actually a spring-loaded knob. And the great thing about the spring-loaded knob is I could mount any camera that I want. In this case, it's a DSLR, or I can use a cinema camera or a camcorder, and boom, just like that, the camera is now mounted to the plate without having to use a tool. So what the offset plate does now is it puts the camera in line with my eye so that I'm not leaning over like this to look into the viewer. Now, in this case, it's a DSLR, but it can also be used with a cinema camera or a camcorder. Now, you'll notice that there is some distance between the eyepiece and my eye, and because of my stupid hat, I probably can't get to it. But what I want to show you is some of the adjustments that you can make. Now, if you're going to use a viewer attachment, of course, that's going to make up for that distance and then you'll be fine. But what you can do is either grip the camera or you can grip the camera rig itself, loosen up the camera plate, and then you can go ahead and slide the camera forward or backward, depending on how much room you need to take up. Don't forget, you've got a safety there so that the camera won't fall off the camera head itself. Don't forget to tighten down the plate. And then once you've made this adjustment, then you can simply manipulate the camera rig itself on the cylinder pad across your shoulder to take up that space. Now the Glidecam Ultra-Shot is an awesome multi-purpose camera rig. And right now I'm going to show you guys how fast I can convert the Ultra-Shot from a shoulder rig to a stabilizer. Now right now I have it sitting here in its hi-hat position, and within a matter of seconds I can convert it into a monopod with 5 clamps, and without having to remove the camera from the plate or the plate from the camera rig, it is now a shoulder rig. Now before I convert this into a stabilizer, make sure you always hold the camera physically with your right hand and then loosen the camera head knob, which is this tri-shaped knob here, so that you can pull the camera rig up off your shoulders like this. Now once you get it to this point, you're going to want to loosen the safety knob here on the handle hub and then loosen the handles themselves. Remember, these spin around so that they face towards you. Tighten those down so that you feel them dead stop on the center shaft, and then always tighten the safety knob. Now once you get it to this point, you just angle this camera back towards you, tighten down this knob, and let's see if I got it the first try. Pretty close, pretty close. I have to do a little bit more of an adjustment, but you can see how fast I converted this into a very useful stabilizer. Let's point that down a little bit. And I think for our purpose here, I got it pretty close. Let's see. Yes, I did. So just like that, I went from having a shoulder rig to a stabilizer, and now I can come up over some rocks or over some hedges and do a pretty cool shot, or I can do a very clean pan, or I can even walk with it after I let it settle here for a second. I can walk with it or run with it. As you can see here, it's just sort of sitting in the palms of my hands. I'm not really trying to coerce it, although I could, I'm not. It's just sitting in the palms of my hands. So within seconds, I went from a hi-hat to a monopod to a shoulder rig, and then right back into a hi-hat again. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the tutorial. If you have any questions, please email us, and as always, have a great shoot. Thank you.